Hey guys, this is Jamie. So today we're gonna be talking about something which I've talked about in the past, which is pretty much boils down to US versus everyone else. But it's not gonna be political today because the world is in turmoil and I don't exactly feel like talking about politics. But we're still gonna talk about it. So I really wanted to talk about Drag Race, and in general, I do enjoy talking about Drag Race. So as you may have known, as you may have seen on Twitter, on Instagram, anywhere really, if you follow Drag Race, obviously you have heard that the second episode of Drag Race Spain season 2 was rated 10, or in some places some people say it's 9.9, but I think it's a 10 out of 10, making it obviously the highest ranked Drag Race show in history. So, as someone who watched the show and who keeps up, the only ones I have not seen is some of the UK ones, Australia, uh, Holland, Thailand. Okay, so practically I've seen all the US ones, I've seen some of the UK ones, I've seen all the All Stars, I've seen UK versus the World, and I've watched all of Spain. So, in case you don't know, I live in Portugal. So obviously, I am a bit sort of biased towards the neighbors, and in general, I've always liked Spanish culture. I've at one point I was considered a native Spanish speaker. That train went away very long ago because, well, I had other things in life, and I wasn't exactly living in Latin America after the age of 7. So then obviously I moved to Portugal, and now I speak Portuguese, and it kind of eats my Spanish away. So I still need to like have the subtitles there below to see it, and specifically like my partner needs to have them because he's not that great at Spanish. But he's still a very good Spanish speaker, no matter what he says. Anyway, so I wanted to say that I've watched enough of the Spanish Drag Race. I've loved it, and I absolutely loved the first season. And watching the second season, obviously, I think it took everyone by storm. Now, did the US like it? Of course not. But the thing is, it's not even a Drag Race thing. It's more of a US versus everyone else thing. The US, from what I see, has a mentality of we want to be the best and try to add drag queens into that mix. And obviously, you're gonna get, oh, but we're the better drag queens, or like, oh, you were copying us, and etc. etc. When there's a lot of talk like, where did RuPaul get inspiration? Which drag is valid? But I do want to talk that obviously the US franchise has been feeling a bit stale. And then obviously the Spanish franchise comes in. There's a lot of trans representation there as well. There has been since season 1 that they have a trans guy in the pit crew. And I know there's Godsmack obviously in the US one. And obviously there have been trans contestants, but it was always sort of like this really rigid path when it comes to trans acceptance in RuPaul's Drag Race US. So in one case, you can say, well, they started earlier, so of course it's clunkier. And obviously that's the OG franchise. Or the OG, the OG of the OGs if you want to talk about Drag Race. But the thing is, what I really don't like is obviously Aja coming for different Spanish drag queens. And I don't know, I'm sure you've seen the Twitter beef. And everyone's kind of pulling a bunch of different cards, like this is racist, no, this is how it's said in Spanish, and everything like that. And at the same time, it's not even, and people are kind of dividing themselves into, oh, but she did a clap back, and then Damina didn't like clap back, therefore she lost, and it's like, guys, it's just drag. But at the same time, it's like, why are you so salty that another franchise is doing better? Even if you want to go that way, like, I've seen even arguments like, the Spanish queens don't speak English, and it's like, well, do the English speaking queens even speak Spanish or any fucking other language? I can judge. I speak 6 languages anyway. So yeah, so I feel like this situation's really overblown out of proportion. It feels like the US just wants to jerk themselves off. And it's like, sweetie, you're already like getting gigs and everything. And just because someone else is doing good doesn't mean that it devaluates you doing good. And just shut up, count your money, check your fans. Yes, something happens and the US was getting very stale. And obviously the Spanish one flourished. So obviously, I don't even know how to be polite or even what to say in this case, because it's literally the Spanish has so much growth, has so much potential, has so much art. There's bearded queens, there's non-binary, there's trans women, and it shows like a proper representation of drag, while the US one kind of feels like they've mastered the formula. And as much as it's interesting, I don't see it anymore as the sort of mind-blowing art form as it once appeared to be. It's more of a reality show which I watch. While the Spanish one I actually watch and I get fascinated by their art. And you don't have judges like scrambling to understand references like Michelle's Pop Bowie. To this day feels like a knife in my heart, and I've never watched judging from RuPaul's Drag Race from Michelle and RuPaul ever again. While when I watch the Spanish Drag Race, I really enjoy the criticisms, and I enjoy that the judges understand the references of everyone. Sadie, for instance, which was in the first episode. So, and obviously, the next episode's runway is gonna be like Woman of Almost Over, and I'm like, ah, because I'm a massive Almost Over fan. I mean, you have to be if you're cultural. And it's just amazing they're gonna pay homage to him, and because I've always loved his movies, and like legit, like whenever there's a new movie, I just run to the cinema and I watch it. So regardless of where I am in the world. And while in the US one, it's like, what are the references? And it's like, I don't give a shit what Beyonce did, you know? Even if I don't understand the Spanish ones, I feel like they're not all of them. I feel like they're more cultural, more interesting, and I just don't see. I just feel like Drag Race is sort of in the US making a parody of itself. And please don't get me wrong, I enjoy it, I watch it, I will continue watching it. It's just, it's stale factually. While the Spanish gives us more room to see what's happening, it opens doors to drag. It doesn't limit anything. Like, I mean, why would a contestant not wear green just because a judge doesn't like it? That's just stupid. So I really wanted to say that it's interesting to have bearded queens. It's interesting to have, like, whatever Onyx is doing, or Setless in the Drag Race Spain. I should probably put some pictures here. And obviously, the world changes, things happen, you know, relevance can only stay so much. And even if you'll stay relevant, they'll always be relevant in the US because the US is in like this inner bubble. And the same goes for every country at this point, because we have a very, very troublesome thing called nationalism. And in general, everyone's just in their bubble, and we just try to live in the places we are, and specifically now in the face of war, we just want to settle in. We want to just live for as long as we can. So seeing this petty fighting and very ugly fighting from Aja, obviously, it really makes me want to say, like, do you have nothing else to do? Like, of course everyone can get catty, everyone can start fighting, but it's not worth it. It just shows how much of a shit person you are, you know? And I enjoy Aja, but, you know. So yeah. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm sorry that it ended up being shorter than I expected. I kind of ended up talking much less, and I kind of wrapped it up fast as well. So if you like this video, please share it. If you liked it, please watch more. If you liked it, give a thumbs up, and if you liked it, please subscribe. Thank you.